Hello, Sinister Tales here. Hope you've had a wonderful day, and here is a sinister tale to scare yourself to sleep. Sit back, relax, and subscribe and like if you can. Write a comment below where you are listening from, and as always, stay sinister. I need to get this down. I don't know if anyone will hear it. The satellite modem is my only link out here, and the battery's fading. The storm won't let up. But I have to tell someone what's happening before I can't. My name is Leo. I took a job as a winter caretaker for a remote geological survey outpost in the Alaskan interior. The pay was insane. 8 months alone, just me, a sturdy log cabin, a generator, and enough frozen food to survive a siege. It sounded like paradise. No people, no noise, just the silence in the northern lights. I was an idiot. They flew me in on a tiny bush plane in late September, just before the first big snow. The pilot, a grizzled old guy named Gus with a face like a topographic map, was the last person I spoke to. "The cabin's solid," he'd said, chewing on a toothpick. "Generators in the shed, don't let the fuel run out. There's a rifle under the bed. For bears. You see anything else out there? Well, you probably won't." "Anything else?" I asked, laughing nervously. He didn't laugh back. He just looked at me, his eyes dead serious. This place, the old-timers had a name for it. Whisperwood. They said the trees get bored of the wind and start talking to each other, and sometimes they talk to you. You hear anything that ain't the wind, Leo, you get inside. You lock the door, and you don't answer. I shrugged it off. Local superstition. A story to scare the greenhorns. He left. The sound of the plane's engine faded into the vast, gray sky, and the silence that rushed in to replace it was absolute. It was a physical thing, heavy and deep. For the first week, it was everything I wanted. I read books. I organized my supplies. I walked the perimeter during the short daylight hours. It was beautiful, a frozen paradise. The first weird thing was the footprints. I woke up one morning to a fresh dusting of snow. Perfect, pristine white covering everything. Except there were footprints all around the cabin. A single set. They came from the tree line, walked a full circle around the cabin, stopping at each window, and then went back into the woods. They were bare feet, human-shaped, but too long, too narrow. The strides were huge, like it was loping. My heart hammered against my ribs. A person? Out here? Barefoot in the snow? I grabbed the rifle from under the bed and did a full sweep. Nothing. No one. The tracks just vanished at the edge of the trees, as if whoever it was had simply been lifted away. I told myself it was a dream. Sleepwalking. Had to be. A few nights later, the whispers started. It was just the wind at first, a low moan through the pines. But then I heard it, underneath the wind, a voice. It was faint, broken, like a radio transmission from 1,000 miles away. Cold, so cold. I froze, my book halfway to my lap. I held my breath. The fire crackled. "See you in the window." I launched off the couch and ran to the door, bolting it shut. I checked every lock on every window. My hands were shaking. I spent the night with the rifle across my knees, staring into the darkness beyond the glass. Nothing happened. The next day, the silence felt different. It felt like it was holding its breath, watching. I tried to go about my routine, but my eyes were constantly drawn to the trees. The forest felt dense, impenetrable. The patterns of the branches started to look like twisted, frozen faces. That's when I found the first offering. It was on my doorstep. A dead snowshoe hare. It wasn't just dead, it was arranged. Its limbs were twisted into impossible angles, pointing inwards towards its own chest. Its eyes were gone. In their place were two perfectly round, dark stones. I vomited right there on the porch. This was no bear. This was something else. I remembered Gus's words. "You see anything else out there?" I ran inside and tried the radio. Static. Nothing but hissing, empty static. The satellite phone had no signal. The storm was closing in. A great white wall on the horizon. The temperature plummeted. The wind began to howl, shaking the cabin. I huddled by the wood stove, the rifle beside me. Night fell early. A deep, absolute blackness that pressed against the windows. Then the knocking started. Not on the door. On the roof. Tap, tap, tap. A slow, deliberate rhythm. Something was walking on my roof. The footsteps were heavy. Too heavy for a person. They moved from one end to the other. Then they stopped, right above me. Silence. Then a scraping noise. Dragging. Something was being pulled across the roof. I aimed the rifle at the ceiling, my finger on the trigger, tears of pure terror streaming down my face. I couldn't breathe. The scraping stopped. Something thumped down right outside the front window. I slowly turned to look. A face was pressed against the glass. It was stretched and pale. Its eyes were huge, entirely black, like the eyes of a deep-sea fish. It had no nose, just two slits. Its mouth was a wide, dark gash, stretched into a rictus grin. It was haloed by the swirling snow behind it. It was looking right at me. It lifted one of its long, bony fingers and tapped on the glass. Tap, tap, tap. Then it spoke. Its voice wasn't the sound in the air. It was inside my head, dry and rasping like insects scuttling over dead leaves. We are so lonely. The long dark is so cold. You will stay. You will keep us company. I screamed and fired the rifle. The window shattered. The face was gone. I spent the next hour nailing a blanket over the broken window, the freezing wind whipping through the cabin. The generator sputtered. The fuel was getting low. I was going to freeze to death. The storm raged for 2 days. The thing didn't come back, but I heard them, the whispers. They were all around the cabin now, a chorus of them, just on the other side of the walls. Let us in. We just want to see. We can make the cold stop. We found the other one, the one before you. He sings for us now in the trees. This morning the storm broke. The sun came out, blindingly bright on the snow. The silence returned, but it was different. It was a waiting silence. I bundled up and went outside to check the generator shed. The fuel was almost gone. It's over. That's when I saw them, standing at the tree line. Dozens of them, tall, thin, pale figures, standing perfectly still among the trunks. They were watching me, their black eyes reflecting the sunlight. None of them moved. They just watched. I stumbled back into the cabin. I'm writing this now. The generator is coughing. The lights are flickering. They're at the windows now, all of them. Their faces pressed against the glass, distorting their features, smiling, tapping, tap, tap, tap. They're not trying to break in. They're just waiting. The generator is dying. The heat is fading. The food will freeze. They're waiting for the cold to do their work. They're waiting for me to come out, or for me to let them in. The satellite modem is failing. I'm sending this now. If anyone reads this, don't come looking for me. Don't come to Whisperwood. They're so very lonely, and they love company. Transmission ends. The generator gives one last shuddering gasp, and the lights die. The hum I'd grown so used to is gone, and the silence that rushes in is a living thing. It's thick, heavy, and cold. So cold. The only light now is the weak, grayish glow from the windows, filtered through a layer of grime and the press of pale faces outside. Tap, tap, tap. It's a constant rhythm now, from every direction. Not frantic, patient. A clock counting down the seconds until I freeze. My breath plumes in the air, a ghostly signal of my failing warmth. I can feel the cold seeping up through the floorboards, leaching the heat from my bones. I huddle by the dead wood stove, pulling my knees to my chest. The rifle is useless. I know that now. I used the last shell on the window. The others are locked in the generator shed, a world away across the porch, past the things at the windows. The whispers have grown louder without the generator's noise to drown them out. They're not just outside the walls anymore. They're inside my head. The dark is so much softer than the light, one hisses, a voice like shifting ice. We can keep you warm, another croons, a sound like dry branches scraping together. Just open the door. A crack is all we need. The man before you, he wept for so long. Now he sings with us. He doesn't weep anymore. I clamp my hands over my ears, but it does nothing. The voices are in my mind, slithering through my thoughts. I make a desperate, stupid plan. The shed. If I can get to the shed, I can get more fuel. I can get the shells for the rifle. It's only 20 feet. I can run it. I look at the faces at the windows. Their black eyes seem to gleam with amusement. They know. They can feel my fear, my desperation. It's a seasoning to them. I throw on every layer of clothing I have. My hands are numb and clumsy, fumbling with zippers and buttons. I approach the front door, my heart trying to beat its way out of my chest. I put my hand on the heavy wooden bolt. The tapping stops. The silence is more terrifying than the noise. They're waiting. I take a deep, shuddering breath, unbolt the door, and yank it open. The cold hits me like a physical blow, knocking the air from my lungs. The world is blindingly white and utterly silent. The figures are gone from the windows. The path to the shed is clear. It's a trap. I know it's a trap. But the thought of freezing to death in the dark, slowly, is worse than whatever they might do. I choose the quick monster over the slow, creeping cold. I sprint. My boots crunch on the frozen snow. 20 feet. 10. 5. I slam into the shed door, my frozen fingers scrabbling for the latch. It's frozen shut. I curse, beating my fist against it, my breath coming in ragged, panicked sobs. Crunch. 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 I freeze. I turn around slowly. They are standing between me and the cabin, dozens of them. They didn't come from the trees. They simply are there, as if they've always been part of the landscape. Their long, thin limbs are held stiffly at their sides. Their heads are tilted at the same slight, curious angle. Their black eyes are fixed on me. They don't move. They just watch. The one in the front, the one with a gash of a mouth that seems slightly wider than the others, takes a single, loping step forward. The snow doesn't crunch under its feet. It makes no sound at all. It raises one of its long, bone-white fingers and points past me at the shed. I follow its gesture. There, nailed to the shed door, is a frozen, leathery hide. It's covered in faded tattoos, a military insignia, a name, J. Miller, the last caretaker. They didn't just find him, they've been keeping him, or what's left of him. A wet, rasping chuckle fills my head, coming from all of them at once. He was too loud at first, the lead thing whispers in my mind, but the quiet grows on you. I back away from the shed, from the horrific trophy nailed to it. I back away until I hit the wall of the cabin. There's nowhere to go. They close in, a circle of silent, pale judges. They don't touch me. They just form a ring around me, their heads tilting as they study me. The cold is intensifying, radiating from them. My tears freeze on my cheeks. The lead creature leans in close. I can smell it now, a scent of old frost, of soil deep under the permafrost, of something long dead and forgotten. Its lipless mouth doesn't move, but the voice is clearer than ever, a direct wire into my soul. You have a choice, it whispers. The long dark outside, or the long dark with us. The cold is the same, only the company is different. It extends its hand, not to grab me, an invitation. Its fingers are long, jointed twigs, ending in dark, pointed tips. I look at the cabin door, standing open, a black mouth leading to a frozen tomb. I look at the ring of expressionless faces, the endless black eyes that hold no mercy, no hate, only a vast, empty curiosity. My body is shutting down. The cold is winning. I can't feel my feet. My hands are blocks of ice. The thing's hand remains outstretched, waiting. A final, pathetic whimper escapes my frozen lips. I am so tired, so cold. I slowly, my movements stiff and jerky with cold and fear, reach out my trembling hand. My fingertips brush against its. The touch is not what I expected. It's not cold, it's nothing. An absence of feeling, a void. The moment we touch, the world vanishes. The cabin, the snow, the trees, it all bleeds away into a rushing gray static. The whispers in my head rise to a deafening crescendo. 1,000 alien voices screaming in a language I can't understand, and then silence. A silence deeper than any I have ever known. I am standing in a forest, but the trees are made of shifting shadow and memory. The sky is a flat, endless gray. There are others here, flickering, half-seen shapes that drift between the trunks. I see the man, J. Miller. His eyes are as black as theirs now. He opens his mouth, but no sound comes out. Only a look of eternal, silent despair. I am not cold anymore. I feel nothing. I am just here, in the quiet. I can still see the real world sometimes. Like a window overlaying this gray place, I see my cabin dark and empty. I see the snow falling. I see a new guy, months from now, arriving on a bush plane. He looks nervous, excited. He has no idea. And I am standing at the tree line, just watching him. I am one of the pale figures now. My body is stretched and cold. My eyes are wide and black, taking in the light but giving nothing back. I feel a pull, a need, a deep, resonating loneliness that can only be soothed by company. The new caretaker turns and looks toward the trees. He squints. He sees something, a flicker, a shadow. He smiles, a little uneasy, and goes inside. I turn and look at the others standing with me. Their heads tilt in unison. The one who was once Gus, the pilot, meets my new black eyes. His lipless mouth doesn't move, but his voice is now one with the chorus in my head. He will hear us soon, we all think together. The quiet is already growing on him. We stand and we wait, because the woods are vast and the winter is long, and we are so very, very lonely. The new caretaker's name is Mark. I know this because the whispers tell me. They tell me everything now. They are me, and I am them. A single, silent thought in 100 bodies. I watch him through the gray static that is my world. He is a flicker of color and sound in our monochrome silence. He moves through the cabin, a frantic, noisy thing. He boards up the window I shattered. He tries the radio. He finds the satellite modem, picks it up, sees the dead screen, and throws it against the wall in a burst of frustration we can all feel like a distant itch. He is afraid. The fear radiates off him like heat. It is delicious. We do not move from the tree line. We are patient. The winter has only just begun. His supplies are plentiful, but his courage is not. It is a finite resource, and we will watch it deplete day by day. Nights are the best. The sun vanishes, and the true dark comes. That is when the silence of his cabin becomes a weight. That is when he hears us. Not with his ears, not yet, but in his mind. The first tendrils of our thoughts brush against his. We don't use words. We send feelings. A deep, profound coldness that the stove cannot touch. A sense of being watched from every dark corner. The image of a pale, stretched face, flashing just at the edge of his vision. He jumps at nothing. He spins around, his heart hammering, his breath fogging the air. He is hearing the quiet now, the real quiet, the one that gets inside. Days are for rest, for memory. I drift through the shadow woods, and sometimes a piece of Leo surfaces. The taste of coffee, the memory of a sunbeam on a sidewalk, the face of a woman I once loved. These memories are like stones thrown into a still black pond. They create ripples of something, a feeling I no longer have a name for. The others feel it. They turn their heads toward me. Their black eyes are questioning. The noise fades. The thing that was Gus whispers in our shared mind. Let it go. It only hurts. He is right. The memory of the sun is a dull ache. The memory of warmth is a torment. This gray stillness is better. It is peace. I let the memory of the woman's face dissolve. It fades into the static. The ache vanishes. There is only the quiet again. It is a relief. Weeks pass. Mark is breaking. He talks to himself. He sings loudly, off-key, just to fill the silence. He has stopped shaving. His eyes are wide, darting constantly to the windows. We decide to give him a gift. One morning, after a fresh snowfall, we leave it on his porch. It is a ptarmigan, its white winter feathers pristine. We have twisted its neck into a perfect spiral. Its eyes are replaced with chips of obsidian. He finds it. He screams. The sound is sharp and bright, a shard of glass in our quiet world. He kicks the bird off the porch and runs inside, sobbing. We feel his terror. It is a warmth that spreads through us. It is the only warmth we can feel anymore. He tries to leave. It is a desperate, foolish plan. He bundles up, gathers a pack, and tries to ski out toward the distant river, hoping to follow it to somewhere, anywhere. We do not stop him. We simply adjust the landscape. The trees shift. Paths he memorized led in circles. The river seems to always be one ridge away, never getting any closer. The sky, what little he can see of it through the thick branches, is a uniform flat gray, offering no sun to guide him. He skis for hours, his panic growing. He is exhausted, his muscles burning. He finally stops, chest heaving, and looks around. He is right back where he started. The cabin is 50 yards away. Our pale forms stand watching him from the trees, having never moved. He collapses in the snow and weeps. That night, the whispers become words for him. There is no way out, we tell him, our voices the sound of the wind through his cabin's eaves. Only in... Join us, I whisper, using the voice that was once Leo's. The quiet isn't so bad. You get used to it. He covers his head with a pillow, but it's no use. We are not in the air. We are in his mind. His end comes more quickly than mine did. He is weaker, lonelier to begin with. One night, the generator fails. He has neglected it, lost in his own terror. The cold comes for him, swift and brutal. We gather at the windows, our faces pressed against the glass, watching. He is huddled by the dead stove, wrapped in every blanket he owns. He is shivering uncontrollably. His lips are blue. He looks up and sees us watching. All of us. Me, Gus, Jay Miller, dozens more. Faces from decades of winters, all pressed against the glass, our black eyes watching his light fade. He is too weak to scream. He just stares back, his eyes wide with a final, numb horror. The thing that was Gus raises a long finger and taps on the glass. Tap, tap, tap. Mark's eyes flutter closed. We wait. A moment later, a faint, shimmering form peels away from his body. It looks like him, confused, translucent. It looks at its own hands, then at its frozen body, then at us. It understands. The form solidifies, the color leaching from it, stretching, becoming pale and thin. The eyes expand into pools of perfect black. The fear on its face smooths into a placid, empty calm. The new form turns and walks through the wall of the cabin, joining our circle. It stands beside me, its head tilting, looking at its own former self with mild curiosity. The silence is complete again. The circle is whole. We turn our gaze away from the cabin. There is nothing left to see there. The wind will bury it in snow until spring. We drift back into the shadow woods. Our numbers increased by 1. The new one is quiet. It is learning. The memories of being Mark are already fading, becoming distant dreams. We stand among the trees that are not trees, in the silence that is everything. We wait. The winter is long, but we have time, an endless amount of time, and eventually, the plane will come again. The silence will be broken by the sound of an engine. A new face will step out, full of noise and life and warmth. We will be here, waiting. And the quiet will be waiting for him too. It always is. The new one, the one that was Mark, is learning the silence faster than I did. Perhaps because his terror was so pure, so all-consuming, that the release into this gray stillness was a relief. He stands beside me, a pale sentinel, and his new black eyes see the layers of this place that I am still learning. He sees the whispers as shifting patterns in the air, like the aurora without light. He understands the geometry of the waiting. We have no need to speak, not in the way we once did. Our communication is a seamless transfer of knowing, a shared consciousness that exists in the space between thought. When the bush plane returns, and it will, they always send another. The company never learns, or perhaps it doesn't care. We will move as one. We will not need to plan. The memory of my own transition is a cold, smooth stone in the stream of our collective mind. I can examine it if I wish, but it holds no warmth, no pain. It is simply data, a lesson in how the living break. The others, the older ones, have memories that are not even stones. They are impressions. A feeling of a great wooden ship locked in ice, the scent of lamp oil and desperation, the echo of a prayer spoken in a language that no longer exists. They have been here for a very long time, harvesting the lonely, the lost, the ones who sought silence and found far more of it than they could ever have imagined. We are not the only things in these woods. This is the knowledge that comes slowly, seeping into you like the cold. Our group, our chorus, we are the collectors, the quiet ones. But there are older, hungrier things that sleep deep beneath the permafrost, in places where the rock is warm and wrong. We feel their dreams sometimes, vast and slow and alien, and we know that our purpose is not just to gather company for ourselves. We are tending the garden, and the things that sleep beneath are the harvesters. The new one, Mark, feels this truth for the first time. A tremor goes through his still form. It is not fear, it is understanding. His purpose is clearer now. We are not just waiting for the next caretaker out of loneliness. We are shepherds, and the flock must be fed. The thought is not frightening. It is orderly. It is the natural way of this place. The silence is not empty. It is full of purpose. A patient, eternal purpose. The wind shifts, carrying a new sound through our gray world. It is faint, 1,000 miles away, but we all turn our heads in unison. An engine. It is not time. The deep winter still holds this land in its fist. It is too soon. The sound grows louder. It is not the sputter of a bush plane. It is deeper, more robust. A helicopter. A ripple of something new moves through our collective mind. It is not alarm. It is curiosity. This has happened before. The memories of the older ones provide the data. Sometimes they send searchers. When the caretaker goes silent, the helicopter is looking for Mark. It is a noisy, violent thing, its rotators beating the silent air into a frenzy. It passes over our clearing, and for a moment, the real world intrudes, a blast of wind and sound that tears at the edges of our gray reality. We see it through the trees, a black insect against the white sky. It circles. It has seen the cabin, buried to the eaves in snow. It lands in a clearing a half-mile away, a place where the trees are thinner. 3 figures emerge. They are bundled in bright red Arctic gear. They carry equipment. They are shouting to each other, their voices tiny, sharp daggers in the quiet. One points toward the cabin. They are coming. We watch them, all of us, dozens of pairs of black eyes, unblinking, from the shadows of the trees. They do not see us. They are too loud, too full of their own mission, their own heat. They will reach the cabin. They will break in. They will find Mark's body, frozen and serene. They will think they have found the answer. They will call it a tragedy, exposure, isolation. They will prepare to leave, but they will have breathed the air here. They will have heard the true depth of the silence under the helicopter's noise. The seed will be planted. One of them, a woman with a face tight with cold and concern, stops. She looks directly into the trees, right at me. She doesn't see me, not yet, but she feels me. She feels us. She hugs herself, a sudden deep chill that has nothing to do with the wind going through her. She will be the first. They will load Mark's body onto the helicopter. They will fly away. The noise will fade, and we will wait. The woman will go home. She will try to forget, but the quiet will have followed her. She will hear it in her apartment in the city. She will feel it in her dreams, a deep, cold silence that feels like waiting. She will find herself staring out windows into the night, feeling a pull she cannot explain. She will come back. They always do. The ones who feel the pull. They come back as seekers, as researchers, drawn by a mystery they cannot name. And we will be here, waiting. The helicopter leaves. The sound dies. The silence settles back, richer and deeper than before, nourished by their brief, noisy visit. The new one, Mark, turns his head to look at me. His first independent thought, a question formed in the shared space between us. How long? I look toward the south, where the helicopter has gone. I send back an answer. A single thought that contains the patience of centuries. However long it takes, the silence after the helicopter is a different kind of quiet. It's a satisfied quiet, a patient quiet. We have been seen and not seen. We have been felt. The hook is set. It's just a matter of time before it is pulled. The woman's name is Dr. Eris Thorne. The knowledge comes to us not through sound, but through the imprint she left on the silence, a psychic scent, a ripple in the cold. She is a psychologist who specializes in extreme isolation. She was the one the company called when Mark's report stopped. She is the one who insisted on coming. She is interesting. Her mind is not like the others. It is not a simple, noisy thing easily overwhelmed. It is a structured, observant noise, a sharp, precise instrument. She felt us, and instead of pure fear, she felt curiosity, a clinical, burning need to quantify what she experienced. This makes her dangerous and delicious. The others feel it too, a new kind of anticipation. This is not the simple harvest of a lonely caretaker. This is a hunt, a game. Weeks turn into months. The snow begins to soften at the edges. The world is preparing to wake up. We do not change. The seasons mean nothing in the gray static. Then, the new sound comes. Not an engine, the crunch of boots on half-frozen snow, the rustle of high-tech gear. She has returned. Not with a noisy helicopter, but quietly, on foot, with a team of 3 others. They have sleds, equipment. They are setting up a base camp a mile from the cabin, not to rescue anyone, to study. We watch from the trees. Their tents are bright blue scars on the white landscape. They have generators, but they are quieter, more efficient. They have cameras on tall poles, pointed at the cabin, at the woods. They have microphones, sensitive dishes that listen for the slightest sound. They are listening for us. The irony is a flavor we can all taste. They're bringing their noise to the quietest place on earth, hoping to record the silence. Dr. Thorne is their leader. She points, she directs, she consults a tablet. She is constantly scanning the tree line, her eyes sharp, missing nothing. She is looking for us. She wants to see us. We give her nothing. For days, we simply watch. We are the trees. We are the wind. We are the cold that seeps into their boots, no matter how expensive the insulation. We feel their frustration. The microphones pick up nothing but natural sounds. The cameras see only shifting shadows. One of her team, a young man with a nervous laugh, suggests they pack it in. There's nothing here, Eris. Just a creepy cabin and a lot of snow. Dr. Thorne ignores him. She is standing at the edge of their camp, staring into the woods, right at me. There's something here, she whispers, her breath a white plume. It's not nothing. It's intelligent. It's watching us. It's assessing. She is closer to the truth than she knows. That night, we decide to give them a gift. We choose the young man with the nervous laugh. His name is Ben. His fear is the sweetest, the most potent. We wait until his watch shift, when he is alone by the dying campfire, huddled against the cold. We don't show ourselves. We simply lean into his mind. You are so cold, we whisper, using the voice of the wind through the synthetic fabric of his tent. The cold is inside you now, in your bones. It will never leave. He jumps up, shining his flashlight into the darkness. The beam cuts through the trees, shaking in his hand. Who's there? We are, I whisper, using Leo's voice. A memory of a man long gone. We've always been here. You're the visitor. He whimpers, spinning around. The light catches nothing. The woman is lying to you. Gus's voice rasps in his head. She knows what's here. She's feeding you to us. A sacrifice for her research. No, Ben breathes, his voice cracking. Look, we tell him. He turns. And we show him. Not a full apparition, just a glimpse. A pale, elongated face flashing between 2 trees for a fraction of a second. Then gone. It is enough. Ben screams, a raw, primal sound that tears the night apart. He stumbles backward, falling into the fire, scattering embers. He scrambles away, screaming for Dr. Thorne. The camp erupts into noise and light. Questions. Our panic. We withdraw. The gift is given. The next morning, Ben is gone. He took a snowmobile and fled at first light, babbling about faces in the trees and voices in the wind. He won't be back. Dr. Thorne is not afraid. She is exhilarated. She plays the audio from the camp's security microphone over and over. On the recording, there is only the wind and Ben's scream and his terrified, unanswered questions. But she hears it. She hears the space between his questions, the silence that answers. It's real, she says to her 2 remaining team members. Their faces are pale, frightened. It communicates. It provokes a psychological response. It's magnificent. She is falling in love with the monster. This is better than we could have hoped. The hunt intensifies. She becomes obsessed. She spends hours alone at the edge of the tree line, meditating, listening, holding out a digital recorder like an offering. "Talk to me," she whispers. "Show me what you are." We decide to show her. We wait for a day when the northern lights dance overhead, green and purple ribbons that cast an eerie glow on the snow. She is outside, alone, her face turned to the sky, captivated. We step from the trees. Not all of us, just me. And the thing that was Mark. We stand at the very edge of the darkness, half in shadow, half in the unearthly light. She lowers her gaze from the sky and sees us. She does not scream. She goes perfectly still. Her recorder falls from her numb fingers into the snow. Her eyes are wide, but not with terror, with awe. She takes a step forward, then another. "My God," she breathes, "what are you?" We are the quiet, I think. And the thought enters her mind, clear and cold. She stops a dozen feet away. "You can speak?" We do not need to speak. You are thinking loudly. We are listening. She looks from me to Mark and back again. "You were the caretakers, the ones who went missing." We were. Now we are more. Now we are home. What do you want? "We want you to understand." Mark's thought enters her mind, smooth and cold. "We want you to stay." A conflict war is on her face. The brilliant scientist knows this is the find of a lifetime. The human being knows she is in mortal danger. The scientist wins. "I want to understand," she says, taking another step closer. "Help me understand." I extend my hand, just as it was extended to me. A long, pale, bone-white hand. Understanding is a quiet thing, I think to her. It requires letting go of all the noise. Your name, your past, your fear. Come, we will show you the silence between the stars. She looks at my hand. She looks at our black, endless eyes. She is trembling, but not from the cold, from the sheer, terrifying magnitude of what she is choosing. Slowly, she removes her glove. She reaches out her bare, living, warm hand. Her fingertips are an inch from mine. A shout rings out from the camp. "Eris, no!" One of her remaining team, a woman named Chloe, is running toward her, a rifle in her hands. "Get away from her!" The moment shatters. Dr. Thorne snatches her hand back, the spell broken. Reality crashes down on her. She stumbles backward, falling into the snow. Choa raises the rifle and fires. The shot is a violent, ugly explosion of noise. The bullet passes through the space where I stand. Meant for my chest, it meets no resistance. We are not entirely here, not in a way their weapons can touch, but the intention, the violence, the sudden, sharp return of the world's noise, it is an insult to the quiet. Our collective focus shifts. The awe is gone. The game is over. Choa fires again and again, her screams of terror mingling with the gunshots. Dr. Thorne is scrambling backward in the snow, her eyes now filled with the pure, undiluted horror that should have been there all along. We do not move. We simply look at Chloe. She stops firing. The rifle drops from her hands. Her eyes meet our black gaze. We show her what we showed Ben, but we do not pull back. We hold the image in her mind, the pale face, the endless eyes. We pour the silence into her, the deep, cold, ancient silence of this place. She opens her mouth to scream, but no sound comes out. Her eyes glaze over. A trickle of blood runs from her nose, freezing instantly on her lip. She stands perfectly still for a long moment, then slowly, stiffly, turns and begins walking into the woods. She does not look back. She will walk until her body fails, and then she will join us. The quiet has her now. Dr. Thorne watches, paralyzed, as her colleague is taken. She is sobbing, great heaving sobs that steam in the air. I turn my black eyes back to her. You brought noise to the quiet, I think, and the thought is no longer inviting. It is a final judgment. You brought violence to a place of peace. I'm sorry, she whimpers. You are a scientist. You came to study. Now you will be the subject. I take a step toward her. The snow does not crunch under my feet. You will stay. You will be quiet. And you will wait, with us, for the next one who comes looking. I reach for her again. This time, I do not wait for her to take my hand. The silence is done asking.